Hello beautiful, welcome back to Nat's Beautiful Life. Today I'm going to be sharing with you some of my book Standouts for October, November, December. And at the end of the video, I will get you all caught up on to where I've been and why I haven't been posting regularly. I will give you a little preview of that. I've been in photography school. I finished 2 novels, and also I hurt myself, and I've already had surgery in 2020 again. So yeah, let's get going on the books. So if you are new to this channel, hello, my name is Natasha, and I do videos on books mostly, bullet journaling, beauty, and things like that. I am thinking about doing a little bit more stuff and just, you know, broadening my horizons a little bit, but that remains to be seen because I have my one leg is in a boot and I can't really walk on it. I have one of those little knee scooter things, so yeah. Anyway, let's talk books. Please subscribe, hit the little notification bell, thumbs up so you never miss a video. All right, October. So what I did is I have read a lot of books October through December, but what I wanted to do is just pick out maybe 2 or 3 from each month. They were standouts to me and just talk about them. I did film a video in November and I was so proud of it. It was like perfection. I was so happy with it, and I accidentally deleted it and I almost threw up, but yeah, here we go. We're starting over. All right, so these 2 books from October, I have mentioned them before on my channel, but since I have completed them, read them, I really want to talk about them and then how they kind of go together even though they have nothing to do with each other. The first one is, like I've mentioned before, How to Stop Time by Matt Haig. This one is a book where the guy ages very, very slowly. So he's like 400 years old and he kind of looks like he's 40 now. And he starts about, it starts about the time of Shakespeare and goes through present time. And one thing that makes it work with this other book is that he talks a lot about London during certain periods of time when it was filthy and smelly. Be still, Barry. It's my dog, right? You can't see him, he's right there. But it was very like smelly and just overcrowded and just gross. And so you kind of get like the human element of that a little bit. It's not just like history, because even though it's fiction, you know, you get the idea of what it would be like to live during that time. But this is so good. Yeah, so he kind of gets into his middle age, so I can kind of think about how difficult that would be, because when he gets to be about the middle age is when which would be 400 years old for him, he has so much history to think upon and so many people to like have lost and stuff that it really starts to get to him and be difficult. He's also been looking for his daughter, who he assumes, or no, he knew was just like him, was someone who aged very slowly, and so he's been for centuries looking for his daughter, and it is just entertaining. I enjoyed this so much and I highly recommend it. I also recommend The Humans by Matt Haig, and I was reading in the back here in the acknowledgments, he actually thought of this book while writing The Humans, and yes, he always likes to put a little dog in his books, which I appreciate. The next book is The Butchering Art by Lindsay Fitzharris. She's actually Dr. Lindsay Fitzharris. I think she's like a PhD in like history or something, but she specializes in medical history. She does have a YouTube channel. If I think about it, I will put it in the description box below. If not, you can just look it up. But this is about Joseph Lister and his journey to basically teaching people about cleanliness and surgery, and also before he, you know, they came up with like ether and things like that. people literally had surgery like really quickly because they were awake during the whole thing, and it was very painful. Obviously, you were being butchered alive, and so they put in this practice of putting people to sleep. Thank the Lord. I appreciate this book so much, especially after this month. But yeah, so it's about, you know, them learning to wash their hands and change their instruments and things like that, and how much of a fight it was. You'd think that people would just be like, oh, that makes so much more sense, but they didn't understand that germs were like existing. They like were like fighting the fact that germs existed at all, and it was just weird. But this takes place during some of those nasty, creepy times in Europe, and because of this, it helped me understand it a lot better. So I really did enjoy this book. It is nonfiction, but it's just told so well, and you just learn about Joseph Lister and his gumption, just his tenacity to get this stuff out. All right, moving on. So the next book I have to talk about is an audiobook I did called Beartown by Frederick Bachman. And I did a couple of audiobooks because my second session of school, I had a 30-minute drive to school and a 30-minute drive back and really bad traffic. So sometimes it was longer than that. So I would put audiobooks on, and it would kind of keep my mind occupied away from the traffic. But this book is so good. I did do the, what is it? My Grandmother Told Me to Tell You She's Sorry from Frederick Bachman. Very interesting. Loved it. I did the first part as a book and the last part as an audiobook, and I really enjoyed that one. And this book really intrigued me from like the get-go. I really wanted to read it, and so I was like, okay, this is the perfect time. The narrator is amazing, and there is a follow-up book that takes place after the events of this book, and she is a narrator for that as well. So I'm kind of toying with the idea of grabbing that to listen to, but anyway, it's so good. So what it is a little tiny town in the middle of nowhere, and I can't decide where they are. I was assuming they were somewhere in, you know, Sweden or something, like where they're from, but it kind of sounded like they were in Alaska. I don't know where this takes place. Beartown is the name of the town, but they have, their big thing is hockey, and it's the only thing that keeps their town going. They have like a small hockey team, so kind of like how we have the Durham Bulls, which is like, it's an offshoot of the Rays, Seattle Rays. I don't know. I go to the Durham Bulls game all the time. They belong to someone else. I am a Chicago White Sox fan, so if it's not them, I don't know. But anyway, so that kind of thing. So like you know, we have the Hurricanes, which are like NHL, but this is like the next step down. So it's like owned by a bigger league. Anyway, so it kind of takes place in this, and then they're like, hockey star does something really bad, people hide it, and it's like, yeah, it's a mystery, and you don't know what, you start off, at the very beginning, it starts off with a gunshot, you know, town is forever changed, blah, 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 but that's all I'm going to say about it. That's all I'm going to say about it. Yeah, it's very good, and it just kind of takes place as like, it's like, do these players get away with things that they shouldn't, or people don't believe them versus the female because of, you know, their status in the community or their importance in the community or to the hockey team or something like that. It's honestly, I can't, I'm describing this book so bad, but it is so good. Like, the mystery is good. What you think is not there, like, it's not what you think, and I loved it so much, and I really do want to read the next book, and it's just got a great message to it, and it was just, it's great family dynamic, great friend dynamic, things like that, people doing the right thing, doing the wrong thing, you know, standing up and, you know, yeah, it's good. Just read it. The next one I did in November was Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. Now, I know this has polarizing things. I think the reason why is because this is an adult supernatural fiction book. So magical realism, I guess, is another way to say it. But I guess people were thinking Grishaverse, fantasy, things like that. And this is not that at all. This goes very, very dark. I will say this. If you like the show Supernatural, you will love this. Basically, it takes place around Yale University, which is built on some magical nexus, and the 8 old houses, which would be like the Skull and Bones and Scroll and something. Hang on. She's very helpful here. She gives us like a little list of who they are. Here we go. The Book and Snake, the Wolf Script, or the Wolf Head manuscript. So all these different type of houses, and they actually freaking exist. You also get like famous people who are part of these particular houses. So everybody knows that like George Bush was in the Skull and Bones. Where's this one here? Jodie Foster was in manuscript. Things like that. So lots of admirals and playwrights and smart people. They're in all these houses. But in the book, these houses do supernatural rituals that can be very, that are pretty rough. And her job in the ninth house is the one that kind of polices these people to make sure that no one dies. There is a death that occurs in here, and she wants to figure out that whole situation. There is mostly the single timeline, and some people are like, it's a dual timeline. It's actually kind of a triple timeline, because you've got her before being recruited to come to this house. You've got, and figuring out what happened. You've got when she first came in, and you've got the present. So it's kind of a triple timeline type of thing, but incredibly well done, I think. And it just, I don't know that I would continue the series because it's just not my jam, like where it's going to wind up going. I just feel it, but I don't know. I'll have to see what everybody else says about it, because none of the people who will continue it are the people who liked it. So, but if you are wanting a supernatural kind of like creepy ride, then this is your book. I mean, this was good. This is well done. It all went together, and I liked it a lot. So there we go. So that was my two November standouts, and then the December standouts. One is Everything is Figureoutable by Marie Forleo. This is another audiobook I did. Some of the, it's like she reads letters from people telling about some of the things that they did using her ideology, and some of those things were like, why would you want to do that? But her actual book itself. And I'm one of those people who has read so many like business, self-improvement, personal growth books, that if I'm reading them and I think it's bullcrap, I will toss it. I will not read a bunch of garbage. This was one of the most poignant, like fresh idea ones I've read in a long time, and it's in your face. Like, she's like, if you're not trying to, like, if you're not working through these difficulties, if you're not trying to find a way to figure it out, then you really don't want to do this, and all of that. So I really enjoyed her just no-nonsense kind of ways of saying things, and she has her own way of her own stuff she went through. So she figured things out for herself as well. She made it happen no matter what, and her story is phenomenal. You just love it. You love her. You start to love her family and everything. It's great. So I highly recommend that. I do want to warn you, she has a foul mouth, and you just have to overlook that if that's not your thing. Don't do the audiobook if that's, you know, you can read the book, but I mean, the concepts and the things that she talks about within the book are great. So that is a big standout for me. All right, last book I'm going to talk about is, I'm kind of on the fence with it, Couldnt Nothing by Holly Black. So this is the third and final book in the, what is this called? Folk of the Air series. Cruel Prince is the first. I liked it. I mean, I loved it. It actually really turned me on to fantasy books. And I read like so many fantasy books after that. Then we had Wicked King. I think I have them all up there, which was even better. And then we have this one. So I like this one. I'm okay with where it wound up. There is one part in the middle. If you've read it, you know what I'm talking about. And it's the reason why the snake is on the cover. That I feel like Holly Black jumped the shark just a little bit. Especially the way she got herself out of said shark jumping. That was like a whole other shark to jump. So that I thought was weird. I don't know. But I'm okay with the way it turned out. So this is a standout for me. I was looking forward to this book since the Wicked King ended on the way that it ended. So yes, I really did enjoy this, but I kind of wish one thing was handled a little differently. That's all I'm going to say, because if you haven't read, excuse me, did I burp on camera? Sorry. Because if you haven't read The Cruel Prince yet, I don't want to ruin it for you, but the way this ended, there's one little part where this ended that is intriguing, and I think it opens up because Holly Black writes in this world. She has created this world, and it's huge, and she writes in different parts of the world, and she has opened up for a great book or series or whatever to occur in another part of her world, and I'm here for it. It looks like it would be so dark, like so dark, if she did. So anyway, that's where that is. So those are the books that I want to talk about for October through December. So let's talk updates on me, where I've been. So first thing, in September I did start photography school. So I got my first certification, went back more and got a double certification, and have really been enjoying that. I love photography, have always loved it ever since I was a little girl, and my grandmother loved gadgets, so even before there were gadget people, my grandmother was a gadget person, and she would always buy the latest and greatest camera, and I always played with them. And for my anniversary last year, my husband got me a really cool mirrorless camera, and I wanted to know how to use it, so started going to photography school and really fell in love with it. Was talking, and one of my teachers is a master, so he's like amazing, and turns out I'm really good at it. So my thing is, I really like to take, I don't like to edit pictures to death because I want you to see what I see. There are some that I play around with and get artsy with, but I like to take pictures as close to what I want and then just tweak it if I need to tweak it. That's my favorite thing, but I do other things as well. But anyway, photography school, that took up a lot of my time. I did do NaNoWriMo this year, so I did write a 50,000 plus word novel in November and worked with a writing group to do that, and that was amazing. I love that so much. So I did finish 2 books this year. So I did my nonfiction book that I am supposed to be working on getting by agent and all that stuff. That is a lot of work. I've been a little derailed. I'll talk to you about that. So I finished 2 books. Like I said, I did film in November 1 video, and I was so happy with it, and I was so sick when it got deleted that I literally was just done. Alright, so December was really busy. It was insane. And then we come to December 31st. I am hiking with my dogs and I fall, I trip over a tree root. I don't think I would have even fallen if this hadn't happened, but I broke my ankle. So I had to be ATV'd off the trail through the woods, not on the trail, to get out. And it was, you know, I'm not gonna complain because it could have been much worse, and it was so like taken care of, just bum ba bum ba bum. Really great people helped me. A trail angel is what we call people who come by and they have what you need. Showed up while I was laying on the ground, and he actually ran to the trailhead and hiked the EMT and fire departments in, and so everything worked out. It was fine. When I got to the ER and I got off the gurney into the wheelchair, there was like a Natasha shaped thing of leaves on the gurney from the ambulance. So yeah, so I have had to have surgery on my ankle about 2 weeks ago, yesterday, 2 weeks ago, and have not been able to put weight on my leg. I am now in a giant heavy boot with 4 more weeks of being unable to put any weight on it. So things that normally take me 5 minutes in the morning, like getting out of bed, getting dressed, washing my face, brushing my teeth, taking the dogs out, take like 25-30 minutes now, and it's exhausting. It is so exhausting. I feel a little behind on like everything, but I'm giving myself some grace with that because it's hard. This is hard. And you think, oh, it's just a leg, but literally it's hard. And thankfully, like I said, I do have one of those knee scooter things, which wears you out a little bit less than the, you know, the crutches and stuff. But maneuvering that sucker around, you know, my house, I feel like I'm picking it up and moving it like while standing on one leg. And like last night, I was in the kitchen. I was so tired and just dizzy and just done. I couldn't pick it up and move it. So I literally was like, I'm doing my 21-point turn trying to turn the thing around. So anyway, that's me. So it's been, it was a really great October, November. November was amazing. I totally did do the whole like figure it out because I worked and I had 2 classes a week, 30 minutes away. I did NaNoWriMo. It was great, and I finished it, and I'm very proud of myself for doing all of that. So I'm trying to give myself some grace with this because I look at January last year and where I was, and then, you know, thinking that, you know, things got derailed a little bit, things got behind, blah, blah, blah. It was fine. But how much I accomplished later. So I'm just, it's okay. It's okay. I can still do things. But anyway, that is what's been going on with me. That's my books and all of that. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will be back again very soon with a new video. And I'm thinking about doing a few of the 2019 best kind of books. I know I've seen some people like carting those out in January this year as opposed to December, which I think makes more sense myself. But we'll do that. And I have some new goals going and stuff like that. So yeah. All right, I'm gonna stop talking. You guys, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you again very soon, and have a great day, gorgeous.